Hi there, this is Dennis Wells. Welcome to the Financial Advantage powered by the Wells Funding Group. Super excited today to have the opportunity to get together with Antoine Baker. Antoine is an amazing realtor with Coldwell Banker in the Oakland area in Illinois. Antoine, thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you. It's an honor, it's a pleasure, and I'm humbled to have this opportunity. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I heard a little bit of your story before, but can you share with the listeners a little bit how you got started in the real estate business?
Oh yes. Well, to be honest with you, I got started by accident. uh, my grandmother is 78 now, which she's been a blessing to me. But she's owned several properties in the South suburban area of Chicago. And that's kind of what made me really not want to get into real estate because I spent my summers cleaning hallways and pulling weeds and trimming bushes and cleaning apartments. So I decided that, okay, I'm going to go to college, get my college degree. So I ended up getting my bachelor's in law enforcement justice administration, and I worked in that field for a while. And then I ended up getting into sales at corporate ADT, which at that present time, I was like, in order to increase my sales here, I think it would be best if I get my real estate license so I could partner with realtors and I could see when properties close. So I ended up getting a license, and after getting a license and working the business, I transitioned into real estate full time. And it's been 11 years, and I haven't looked back, and I love it. And so it worked out for me.
No, I love it. Yeah, it's funny. It's especially on the loan originating side, you talk with people and like, how'd you get into business? Because nobody's like in second grade going, man, I want to be a loan originator. It's always like
Right.
something happened, and next thing you
Right.
know, here we are. But
Absolutely.
but then you get in and you get that chance to help people, and
Absolutely.
it's amazing. So it sounds like a deep a sense of entrepreneurialism for you that you were doing the ADT sales, and you're like, hey, if I can do this, I can increase my business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this has really become my ministry.
Okay.
Being able to help people acquire an asset that will give them some sort of financial stability is something that I've just grown to have passion. And I mean, it's been deals that I've been surprised. I've been able to get through and close and get credits, and I just know it was just God in the midst. So it's definitely become my ministry.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, a relationship with the Lord is what ultimately changes your family tree. But that opportunity to create wealth through real estate, people don't understand just how powerful that is.
It's very powerful. I think when people come into the knowledge of the power that of the wealth generation that it could produce to overcome the fear and act on the knowledge, then they'll reap the benefit. Because to have the knowledge is one thing, but to act on the knowledge is another. So I think, once people start to seek and understand and apply, then they'll start to benefit and they'll start to change the course of their family financial situation for generations.
Yep, absolutely. And you know, I think it's kind of a both and, right? But people have to start believing that they can do this, but then they get connected with someone like you that helps build their faith in their ability to get this done. What are some things that you do to build that faith in other people that they can do this too?
Education.
All right.
So it's not really about selling a house or getting a client. It's really about establishing a relationship with the client. It's about educating the client, And it's about establishing that trust between the client and you, because it's a big purchase. So I'm grateful because I understand that relationships are more important than a transaction. And if you have that mentality, then one transaction will turn into three, four, five transactions, because that client will appreciate what you've done for them, and they'll begin to refer you clients. So I help clients through educating them, and I educate myself. I have to be a student of the industry in order to educate. So I currently hold five licenses. I have the accredited buyer representative certification. I have a seller representative specialist certification. I have a real estate negotiation expert certification. I have a pricing strategist certification. And then I also have the short sale and foreclosure certification. So I'm passionate about the industry because I know how impactful it can be to a family and to the generations of that family.
Yeah, 100%. And I love that you brought up, the designation and obviously the work that's involved to do that, um, you know, through the study and testing and all the things that are involved in there. But it's, if we're not believing in ourselves enough to invest in our own business and our own, um, increasing our ability, then why should someone else trust in us to help them accomplish their goals?
If the end of if are you asking me from if I'm not believing in myself, or if I have a client that's not believing in themselves?
Well, no, no, more of a statement, right? I mean, it's like when we're investing in ourselves and when we're growing, I
True,
think other people are going to see that, and that's going to enable them to trust in us more. It's like
true,
we
absolutely,
we're I think it's a demonstration of the concern that we have for our clients, that we're looking to
absolutely,
always get better and continual improvement.
absolutely, agreed.
So
And I think it's important for the consumer to really seek out a professional. I have a flyer that says a real estate professional, not just a realtor. So I think it's important for consumers to really seek out professionals within the industry, because a professional within the industry is not only going to sell you a house and disappear, but they're going to sell you a house, and then they're going to think about educating you to then turn you into an investor in real estate, to start creating that financial stability and generational wealth.
yeah, absolutely, and I'm sure this happens to you quite regularly as well. I mean, there's a lot of people that I talk to that I might never be able to help. They're what they need to do. Working with the financing on their house maybe is not the right vehicle to get there. But then going and saying, okay, well, let's talk about establishing an emergency fund. Let's talk about budgeting. Let's talk about these things. And because I love the professional realtor um, you know qualification for people, because I look at it that yes, I help people finance houses, but I also see myself ultimately as someone's debt manager. And so how can I help you lower the cost of borrowing over time, and ultimately I feel like I'm done my job when my clients are completely debt free. And it's like work myself out of a job, but it's for the good of our clients.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's why it's important for a consumer to really do their due diligence and finding people like yourself that's passionate about what they do, but also have the right motive and also have the right intention, and understand the value of relationships, instead of just doing a one time transaction and just looking at their own personal gain. So I think if people do the due diligence and find people like yourself and I, then they'll definitely benefit from their investments and future investments, and they'll be educated. And we don't, this is the thing. If anybody that's going to listen to this podcast, if you don't think you can buy a house, or you think that it's so far fetched, still reach out to one of us, because our job is to educate you and prepare you to reach the goal. So you don't have to have it all together, because to be honest with you, you might not even know how to get it all together. And that's where we come in to start putting together a plan and a strategy to help you acquire the American dream.
Yep, 100%, 100%. And you know, don't get caught up in that, analysis paralysis of, well, if I do this, 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 and this, then I'll be ready. It's like, get started.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure for you as well, it's like very rarely is it a no. Mostly it's a not yet. Let's do this, 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 and then we can be at a point where that would make sense for you. Because like, again, you're wanting to get someone in a house that, that is in, that's going to meet their needs. And I want to make sure that people, when they're financing a house, that they're not in a situation where, that all they can do is make that mortgage payment. I mean, I kind of like it when
Absolutely.
my clients get to eat, get to go on a date once
Exactly.
in a while, get to go
Right.
on vacation. And it's like, because life is, and ultimately to be able to invest too, right? And so, so part of it is, hey, how can we help people get to the point where, they're ready to, get into something that's really going to meet their needs and be a really good investment.
Absolutely. It's important. And that's the great thing about, you know, you, Dennis, you actually you consider the person. And it's not just let me sell them, let me get them approved for the highest amount so I can get this check and on to the next. You consider all aspects, and you don't put them, you don't put them in a situation that they'll regret within the next, 6 months to a year. So that's I'm happy to be in partnership with you, and integrity is everything. So
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. In fact, one of the things I'm putting in, I do a dashboard for clients, especially for the first-time home buyers. I'm putting in there a budget. Hey,
mhm,
it's important for you to, if you're not already doing this, it's important for you to understand, at least in very general terms, where your money is going. Because if not, it doesn't really matter how much money you make if you don't control where it goes and tell it where to go. I mean, how many, athletes have signed multi-million dollar contracts and
mhm,
then 5 years later have nothing? And it's like, it wasn't because they didn't have income. It was because they didn't know where it was going. They didn't pay attention to it. And, and so how much more important is it when, we don't know that many people that are signing 70, $80 million a year contracts. Most
mm,
people are, working a regular
right.
job, and they need to make sure that, that their income is going where it needs to go, and that they're investing in something that is going to be of value.
True, and that speaks to the discipline of humanity. To you have to be strategic, you have to be and conscious, right? You have to be
Mhm.
strategic, you have to be conscious, and you have to be disciplined, because St- Starbucks adds up over over years, 2 3 years. How much we spend on groceries. Like, and I have to be. I love Starbucks. Right. I'm trying to get it out of my system, but I had to make changes. My wife is great because she went and bought some salted, some everything that I need to make my own drink at home. uh, so I'm being more conscious of where my money is going, because I now have a 8-year old. I have an 11-year old. I have two girls. My 11-year old is homeschooled, and she's gonna be going to college sooner than anticipated.
Mhm.
So now is we have a budget for groceries. When it's we eat out. We eat out twice a month as a family. We go to the show, but we go on Tuesdays when it's discounted. Like, I'm telling you, we have to be conscious, and we have to be disciplined, and we have to be strategic to overcome our financial deficits, and to prepare for a brighter financial future.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it's like, wherever you are, you can start, and that's, that's the amazing thing, especially living in America where we live, that things can change dramatically in a very short amount of time. I mean, I think of, 'cause I'm, getting up there, right? And if I go and I look, you know, how old was Sam Walton when he started Walmart? How old was Colonel Sanders when he started, Kentucky Fried Chicken? When, some of these
Mhm.
people that, you're like, you look at them, you're like, oh, they really did something. It's like, well, they started, where they were when they were. And, so we can't go back and be like, oh, I coulda, shoulda, woulda. But hey, what can we do? What can we do here moving forward?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So, um, tell me a little bit more about how your mindset and your faith impacts your real estate business.
Mm. Mindset and faith. Well, I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. I my mother died when I was 8 years old. I grew up in a boarding school. I was homeless at one point in time for 6 months. I slept in the back of a Ford Explorer in the summertime, so it was hot. Ate off dollar menus. So, um, my faith was really impacted by experience that I had. I was hospitalized, and I was in the hospital in and out for over a period of 3 to 5 years. Well, I say 3 to 5 years because the first 3 years it was more in and out, and then over the last 2 4 to 5 years it wasn't as um, critical. But that really transformed and shaped my faith. And from there, things just began to be every year I've seen increase. I've been married for 13 years. My wife has yet had to work. She take care of the girls. She assists in real estate. She is licensed in Illinois and Indiana. So my faith has really transformed my entire life. And
Mm,
I didn't grow up in a church. I was mad at God. My mother died. I didn't understand how He could take the only love that I knew. But I'm gonna tell you this: when I decided, and it wasn't even my decision, to be honest, it's never my decision. It wasn't my decision. Look, I guess it was, right? Because my circumstance, my situation caused me to seek out God. It,
mm,
it caused me to humble myself, to read the word, to learn principles, to apply principles. So I tell
hmm
people all the time that your response to a situation is more important than the situation itself.
Yeah,
So at the end of the day, it was my choice because that's what God has given us, free will. So we have the choice. And I just told a group of men a couple last month, because I have a men's meeting every month. I said you gonna choose this. You gonna serve somebody.
yeah.
You either gonna serve God consciously and serve the devil unconsciously, or you gonna serve the devil consciously and serve God unconsciously. So it's you're gonna serve somebody, but you have to be conscious and you have to be disciplined. I'm sorry, I'm not sure why we lost the video, but you have to be the Zoom camera. You have to be conscious and you have to be disciplined within yourself. And it's the thing. Situations they come to make you a better person if
Yeah.
you respond the right way, and if you have a solid foundation. If you have a foundation, in the word of God, that's my faith, then it will
Yep.
help you through those times. Then you'll understand why you had to go through what you had to go through. Look, I grew up. My mother died. I grew up in a boarding school. My father abandoned me. I filed bankruptcy. I was homeless for a minute. I paid $7,000 off to keep a vehicle that when I went through the bankruptcy, and then it got totaled. So
Mm,
then I had to figure out what. But I'm gonna tell you this: through all that, God restored. God restored everything that I lost, and
hmm
He multiplied it. And when I
Yep.
asked God, why did I have to go through all this? He said, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his knowledge, and seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things shall be given unto you. So that's when I really understood and I began to apply that. Now, this recent, we talk about faith. I'm not going to take up too much time, but we talk
No.
about faith. Last week, I had a client that was raving about paying me 0.75%. 0.75% commission. I heard like 0.75, it's not even 1%, 0.75. So she was raving. She was upset. Her daughter was buying a property. The mom was the one that was upset because she thought I was taking advantage. So she wrote out this long page-and-a-half letter with all these accusations, which I had. The Coldwell Bankers been around for 119 years. So when they get allegations, they are going to investigate. So it took me 4 hours to put together email to prove against these allegations. But
Yep.
make a long story short, they agreed to support me. And at the closing, the commission was on it and she was required to pay it, right? So when
Yep.
we did the final walkthrough, she did not look at me. She was so angry, right?
Mm,
So Lord spoke to me and said, what's more important, the soul or the money? I
mm.
said, I said, oh my God, I said the soul. So
Yep.
from the house closing, I made a call to Coldwell Bank. I said, we got to waive the commission. That's fine. I'll waive it. At the closing table, I told her that I was getting the commission waived. I shook her hand and I said, I hope that your heart is at peace towards me. She did say thank you. And I said, you welcome. I said, I hope that your heart is at peace towards me. Within 2 hours, I ended up getting 4 deals.
Mm,
I need 4 deals. Two of them are under contract right now, and two is pending. So when you talk about faith, it's really applying the principles and just being righteous towards people, and being
hmm.
conscious how you respond to people and situations. To
Yeah.
make a
Yeah.
long, but I'm sorry.
No, absolutely. No, I love it because like you know, eh, um, if we're doing this for the right reasons and we are, sensitive to, that, God's leading in the midst of what we're doing, he's, more than able to make up for, anything that he asks us to give up. He's able to give way more. And
Absolutely.
um and like you're saying that the soul of the person, way more important than, than the money. But I mean, not to say the money is important, because we live in a world where we do need to buy food, we do need to
Right.
pay mortgages, and we do need all of these things. But
True.
but God is able to transform all that. So that's awesome. I love it.
Absolutely. You are absolutely right. Look, the Bible say money answereth all things. So that's absolutely right. But it also say that the love of money is the root of all evil.
Yep.
So I think that was a great test, and to be honest with you, I felt so relieved and I felt so much better throughout the day just
Hmm.
knowing that she was forgiven, and
Yep.
she just felt better, and then God
Yep.
instantly rewarded me for my action. So once again, it was the response that opened up the heavens, and God showed up. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
faith.
Yeah. I love it, my friend. Well, hey, thank you so much for taking some time to be with me here today. I know that there's a lot of people that would love to talk with you about buying and selling real estate, or maybe being a part of what you're doing. What is the best way for people to get in contact with you?
Okay, so the website would be www.antoinebakerrealestate.com. So that's www.antoinebaker real estate. So it's all one, AntoineBakerRealestate.com. So AntoineBakerRealestate.com. And then you can call me directly, 708 940 8944, 708-940-8944, or you can email at antoine.baker@cbrealty.com.
All right. I love it, my friend. Well, thank you
That
again
was
so much.
fun. I was
Yeah.
nervous. I've never stuttered that much. I think I stuttered about 3 times. Man, I was nervous, but it was fun. I was nervous,
No.
but it was fun.
I love it. I love it. Well, hey, I want to thank everyone for listening to the podcast here today. And we'd love it if you would like and subscribe to the channel, whatever channel that you're on. And please share this with friends, family, anyone that's interested in real estate and faith and growing wealth. Antoine, thank you again so much for being with us. We are powered by the Wealth Spending Group. You can reach us at 219-230-8400. Thanks again, Antoine. I really appreciate it.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye bye.